at the home of Randy Marks and Sharon Ashton. Randy, you have a beautiful arts and crafts style house, and in the structure of your landscape, I see that you've done a bit to kind of connect back to that style. Tell me about that.
Well, I took a lot of inspiration from the rock that is in the house, the rock arches and the wall that encircles the property. And I used that as a starting point, along with just my love of working with rock, and then created the low walls out in front and the pathways. So that provided the architecture for the plantings that I was doing.
And the plantings, I know we were talking earlier, and you are a student of landscape design and have your LEED certification. I imagine that's influenced your design quite a bit.
It has. I've tried to think about the effect that the plants that I'm using would have on the environment, and particularly in regard to their drought tolerance, their use of water, and in low maintenance also. For example, this grass is a mixture of native grasses. It doesn't have to be mowed very often, doesn't need to be fertilized, and so it conserves a lot of resources.
And you've applied, I would call it a xeriscape design strategy to the planting beds as well as the turf areas.
To a great extent. It's not totally a xeriscape, but I've been thinking about xeriscape a lot in the plantings that I've chosen.
Well, and for this time of year, after the extreme heat and drought, your gardens look beautiful. I imagine some of that speaks back to the plant material.
In this particular garden down here, these are all native plants, so they've had a long time to adapt to our climate and the way it changes. So they're all natives or variants of natives, and so you can see by the color that some of them have really done well through this heat.
Yeah, and I see you have some liatris that's getting ready to bloom. Tell me about the grass on the far side, because that's just really unusual and quite striking.
That is a variant of blue grama, which is a native grass, and that particular variety is called Blonde Ambition. So when it finally loses all of its green color, it'll just be this kind of shimmering Marilyn Monroe blonde color in the landscape.
It looks really nice set against the salvia there.
I like that combination, and I love this burst of red from the salvia. It was brilliant just a couple of weeks ago, and I'm hoping it'll be the same in another couple of weeks for the tour.
Absolutely. Well, the other thing I notice as I look through your landscape are the little homemade touches. There's a lot of artwork, and I know it kind of speaks to your former career as an artist.
That's true. I was an artist for most of my adult life, and in the landscape, particularly in the back, we have some artwork by Ron Farrell, a good friend of ours, and also Ira Schlesinger, who is not a professional artist, but he's a really fun amateur artist. And then also Asia Scudder, some of her pieces will be in the back as well, as long as maybe a couple of my own too. I
think that connects really nicely with the arts and crafts style and everything you have here in the landscape.
We've tried to make the landscape engaging, and we like art, so there will be more art even added as we go on.
As you go along.
Sure.
Well, and this is a work in progress, and I think it's really exciting. You were showing me in the backyard, you know, as you're excavating and digging out, you're finding some really incredible pieces that were left behind from before.
There was, we discovered the remains of a pond and some benches and tables. All of these were overgrown, totally overgrown with vines and weeds. So we didn't actually know what all was there. And as we keep on digging, we keep on finding more and more. Just a couple of days ago, I found a small patio that I didn't even know existed back there. So looking forward to what else we might find in the next couple of weeks.
And I'm looking forward to seeing what you do with all of that.
Oh, great.
An absolutely beautiful landscape.
Thank you very much.
We hope you've enjoyed this classic from the Oklahoma Gardening Vault. Remember, even though these tips and techniques are timeless, there's always something new to learn in the world of gardening. By subscribing to both Oklahoma Gardening and OK Gardening Classics, you'll have access to a wealth of gardening knowledge, both classic and contemporary.